Good afternoon, everybody. Bill Jeppy here, Kimberly Vassal's Beer Snob. It's been far too long since the last beer review, and I thought we should get one on the books. So today, nice spring-like Friday afternoon, I've got two IPAs to enjoy here. One out of Hops and Grain from Austin, Texas, and the other from Cigar City Brewing in Tampa, Florida. Both of these beers are similar in that they're both dry hopped IPAs, meaning that the fermenting beer is covered almost with a blanket of hop flowers or hop pellets, depending on what the brewer used. So that's the similarity in these two. The specialty hops in this one is Falconer's Flight, which is a newer hop to the scene in the last couple of years. And the Cigar City one is Kuhatu, which I've never had before. And this is a series they're doing. Both these are actually a series that they're doing where they're using a different hop to dry hop it on a monthly basis or a couple month basis and releasing different varieties. So I've had a number of the Cigar City ones. They've all been pretty solid. And I've had the first one of this, which was hopped with Mosaic hops, I believe. So we'll get these into a glass and let you know how they taste. Okay, so we got the Hops and Grain Greenhouse IPA into a glass. Again, this is the second installment of this. This was actually a brew house exclusive, I believe, last year or the year before, where they just had people had it on draft and would try a different hop varietal. And January they did Mosaic hops, and this February release was the Falconer's Flight. I think there's some Chinook and some Centennial in here as well. I believe the primary dry hopping hop is the Falconer's Flight. So in the glass, it looks pretty. It's a really nice looking IPA. It's that really kind of yellowy orange. There's a little bit of chill haze on there, but you can kind of see some white getting through that easily. Heads was billowed down, billowed up, but it's going down a little bit. It's fairly white. Leave some lacing bits on here. Nose wise, you're getting some really nice fruity tropical flavors from that Falconer's Flight. It is a pretty big characteristic that puts off is that kind of tropical fruit character. I think like your mango, your melon, your pineapple, and typical hop character as well. A little bit of pine, some resin notes, some earthiness, and some sweetness from the malts that are in there as well. So sounds like a damn good IPA. Let's take a sip. That's really nice. It's not overly bitter. I have a feeling this Cigar City one might be a little more bitter on the palate. There is some sweetness. Again, getting those nice fruity hops. Malt bill is pretty balanced with the hops, providing a pretty good sip. On the back end, you get a little bit of that bitterness. I mean, it's not aggressive on the front like other IPAs, but I think that Falconer's Flight is a pretty middle-of-the-road hop varietal on the bitterness scale, but it provides some good fruity character. All told, it's a pretty solid beer. If I'm going rating scale again, if I was going to 1 to 100 scale, it's probably 90, 89, 90. I really like it. I think the Mosaic one last month was really tasty. I'd like to have them side by side, but again, freshness with IPAs is the best thing. And if this was a February IPA and we're drinking in the middle of March, it's right in its wheelhouse. The thing I didn't get to note in the beginning of our spiel here was that Cigar City is distributed in Pennsylvania. This Greenhouse IPA out of Austin, Texas is not. I had a friend ship it up to me who lives fairly close to the brewery. So if you're ever down there and you want to try some of their stuff, they make a good line of canned beers. They have a pale ale that's really tasty, a lager. If you're into that, actually a Pilsner, I apologize. Both really solid beers. I think the brewery's kind of built on sustainability and environmental friendly, so they do a lot of that stuff, hence the canning instead of bottling, because it is a little easier to recycle. So that's really cool that they're doing that, and look for more stuff out of them. If you're ever in Austin, definitely try to pick it up, because this is pretty damn solid. I'll take another sip with this one, and we'll get on to the dry hopped on the high seas from Cigar City. Okay guys, so we got the Cigar City hopped on the high seas, dry hopped with Kuhatu, which is a hop varietal I've actually never had in a beer, so I don't really know what to expect from this one. Looked it up online. It basically says it gives off a lot of flavors of pineapple and other tropical fruits, similar to a lot of hop varietals. With this one, again, you can get Cigar City beers in Pennsylvania. This comes in 6-packs. It's fairly affordable, $12, I believe, $11.99 or something like that. They've done a number of these. This is probably the 4th or 5th, if I can remember. They did Simcoe, they've done Citra, they've done some experimental hops, and I think they're going to keep doing them, so it's going to be a little bit of a series for them. Cigar City is a fairly decent-sized brewery down in Tampa, and they're only growing. They're known for another IPA called High Live that's very, very popular. If you can get your hands on that, definitely give it a whirl. It's solid. So with this one, again, we get it in the glass. It's a little bit lighter than what we saw from the Greenhouse IPA. A little more on the yellow-orange scale. Somewhat hazy. You can still see some stuff getting through there. Bright white head, a little more frothy than the other one. On the nose, yeah, I mean, you get some of that pineapple character, some melon. It's not as citrus forward as the other one. I didn't really mention that during that review, but that was really kind of, you get some orange and some citrus notes in that one. This one, not so much. Maybe some, like, honeydew or melon of that variety, maybe some lemon even. That kind of citrus coming in. Again, some sweetness from the malts possibly in there, but nothing too major. It's pretty mild on the nose, so let's give it a taste. Again, neither one of these beers are as bitter as other West Coast style IPAs or stuff like that really just punch you in the face with extreme bitterness and almost like little needles poking into your tongue, ripping up those taste buds. Really mild, light bitterness on the front portion of the tongue. Then you get some of that honeydew, that melon character. Light malt bill, really easy to drink. I think this one's a little bit lower alcohol content than the Greenhouse, but they're really in that regular IPA stratosphere of 6 to 7% alcohol on either one of these. Finish is pretty clean and dry. Not a lot of bitterness. It's definitely dry on the back end of your palate. You want to take another sip to like almost cleanse yourself again. Mouthfeel wise, I didn't really talk about that with Greenhouse, but mouthfeel is probably a lighter side of medium. We're not looking at anything too cloying here at all. Seems pretty easy to drink. Besides the alcohol content, I wouldn't want to sit down and drink a whole 6-pack of this because you might not be able to stand up afterwards. But definitely something to seek out. And again, you're going to see these on the shelf and you're going to recognize the can, but it might be a different hop varietal. Give it a whirl. I mean, they've all been pretty solid. The base beer is good, and then the hop, with dry hopping, you're really giving more aroma to the beer than actual flavor. You might add a little bit of flavor, but really your bittering hops happen during the boil process, and then with dry hopping, you're adding more aroma. As the beer's already been brewed, and you're having it fermenting, and you're dropping dry hops on top of it. So cool concept. Wanted to get it out to you guys. Something different that you might see from other breweries. I mean, people have done it for years. It's just that these two were pretty cool because they're both in cans, different areas of the country. This one being something you can get. So I wanted you to take a look at that. If you ever see Cigar City products, like I said, High Life is something to pick up if you're an IPA fan. Definitely a solid beer. Sadly, the hops and grain you can't get here, but something if you're ever down in that area, or they grow in size in the next couple years, you might be able to get your hands on it. So in the meantime, guys, drink amazing beers. Keep trying new stuff. That's what I always tell people. You never know what you really like until you try a whole bunch of different stuff. You might run into some duds, but for the most part, the majority of the growing, booming craft beer market is full of really, really good products. I rarely meet an IPA I despise. I pretty much like a lot of the stuff I drink. And these are two pretty solid beers. Again, I forgot to give a rating on this one. I actually prefer the Greenhouse a little bit, so if I gave 90 to Greenhouse, I'm going to go 88 on this guy. Solid beer. Other ones in this series have been a little bit more solid. Citra Hop one that came out early or end of January or something like that was really, really good. So the bonus here, I forgot to mention again, is that with IPAs you want to drink 60 to 90 days from canning or bottling. And Cigar City does date their cans. So on the bottom of this can says it was canned on the 20th of February, and it is the 14th of March right now. So it's a real fresh can. These guys being smaller, they just let you know that it was the February product, which is fine. But again, keep in that 60 to 90 day window, and tell your beer vendor if you see something that's outside that window that you've got an old product and you might want to remove that from your shelves, because the brewer wants you to consume it in those kind of time frames as well. So guys, again, till next time, like I said, drink amazing beers and be safe out there. Try to enjoy some of the warmer weather while we have it. Cheers.